Welcome to the Business with Beers podcast. This is the place where we help entrepreneurs turn their business income into passive income. I'm your host, Brian Beers, an entrepreneur who's on a mission to inspire growth from everyone around me. I'm going to show you how to create generational wealth by growing your business and breaking the chains of Wall Street investing. Remember, you need to take the actions that others won't so you can live the life that others don't. This week, I've got Simon Severino on the show, all the way from Vienna, Austria. Simon is the CEO of Strategy Sprints, which is a B2B firm that helps companies double their revenue in 90 days. In this episode, Simon talks about the value of finding what the true lead measures are for driving sales and then going hard on driving those metrics. You know, it's easy to get focused on sales, but that is a lag measure. That is the byproduct of other work. You know, Simon's also got some great advice on how to grow your business organically, spending $0 on marketing until it reaches a certain level. Really good episode. Make sure you grab a pen for lots of actionable tips. And before we dive into today's show, I would really appreciate it if you could take 2 seconds to drop me a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to connect with me, go to brianbeers.com. All right, let's get started. Hey, welcome to the show, Simon.
Hello, everybody. Excited to be here.
Great. Well, to start, could you give us a little bit of your background, your journey from maybe 18 years old to kind of where you're at now and in terms of what you do and how'd you get there?
Sure. Simon Severino. I live in Vienna, Austria. And really for the last 18 years, I've been doing only one thing. And it's less boring than it sounds. I've been helping people double revenue. And that was the big companies. And then I moved gradually to the smaller companies, small teams, and even solopreneurs because they need it most right now. It's such a tough year for everybody. You don't know what's happening in the markets. You don't know what's going on out there. How do you plan in such a year, right? I cannot tell you the Fed meeting of today if it will move the market up or down. Every hour is different. So it's really tough situation right now. And that's why I am concentrating myself on small businesses, helping them survive this funky year, right? Helping them decide in a situation where you can't decide, helping them collect data so that you pick better decisions. But you need the data faster and simpler, right? And that's not that easy.
Okay. So you help with companies double their revenue, right? That's your target. What's a target customer look like in your business?
We work with professional services and SaaS teams. So they either are consultants, coaches, agencies, or they build software. And they are in the B2B space. So they just need 50 clients per year because they have a high ticket, high engagement situation. And so it's all about relationships. It's about how to really get your magic across in a way that finds the right people, because you don't want old people. You want to find the right people that are the right clients for you. And basically it's helping them cut through the noise, find their tribe, find their right people, and onboard them the best way.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so if you don't mind, I mean, if you could walk us through kind of a high level, let's say it's a coach, someone who provides, professional, strategic, executive coaching. I mean, I personally do it. I have some clients. I'm also a client of a strategic coach. So I know the business. So you mind like kind of walking me through what does it look like when you start with a client? How do you go about hitting this target of doubling the revenue?
We work in cycles of 90 days.
Okay. They
get a one-to-one coach, and that is probably different from most of the coaching practices that you know, because Spider-Man, the last movie where he's so young and always excited and in action, and he needs to do stuff, and he has his friend who is on the computer, and he says, "Hey friend, should I kick the left door or the right door? I don't know." And then the friend says, "Give me a second." And then he goes, "Oh, kick the left one because behind the right one there's a cactus." That's a sprint coach. You have somebody 24/7 for 5-6 small decisions every day instead of once a month, the big review or the big reflection. You have 24/7, 274 template, and somebody who helps you right now when you need it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you need. Then you go back into action. So it's more like your life is as an entrepreneur right now. Tag your coach, say, hey, should I do this or that? Well, show me the subject line before you send it. All right. Oh, no. That will get a 3% open rate. Write this. All right. And then you send it. So this kind of small everyday loops. And how does it start? It starts with a game plan. So we go through the main elements of your business, and then we decide 3 goals, 3 numbers. Those 3 numbers will be measured every 7 days. That's the sprint method.
Every 7 days, every week?
Every week.
Okay.
So 12 sprints of a week. And now your dashboard will be 1 sales number, 1 marketing number, 1 ops number. Let's say you're the client and you pick, all right, marketing number, I want to have 4,000 unique visitors per week on my website. Of those 4,000, 200, they opt into something.
Okay.
Right? Then the sales number of those 200 opt-ins, I want 35 to land on my calendar, and I want to close 12 of them per week. That these are your 2 sales numbers. How many discovery calls, how many closes.
Yep. Okay.
And you have also your conversion rate in there. And then an ops number might be something that tells you if your clients are happy and if they refer to somebody. So for example, we like to use the NPS, the Net Promoter Score, to get that number. It might be also another number. How many people this week referred you to somebody? So client referrals. Or it might be that you have partners. Something that we use is referral teams, that you have other people promoting you and they are affiliate partners. So you might say, okay, how many referrals did we get from referral teams, referral partners this week? Now you have a dashboard. We put it up, your team, being it 3 people or 5 people or 12 people, the whole team looks at this dashboard and knows exactly this week we have to improve by 1% this number, or this week we have to improve by 1% this number. And everybody is working towards improving by 1% one of those numbers. And now you see why it doubles revenue.
Yep. Okay. So are you targeting the end result, the lag measure in a sense? Like how many people did you close? Or are you trying to hit the conversions? Like, are you looking at the top number or the bottom number in terms of when you're targeting that? We
measure the outcome. We decide the inputs. So you need both. You need leading and lagging. We call them input and output.
Yep.
And so we measure the output, how many euros, how many referrals. But we decide, okay, which inputs will lead to that output. And we change the inputs accordingly if they achieve the output or not.
Okay. So then when you're saying, all right, we got to get 1% better, then you're looking, all right, how do we drive more visitors? How do we increase our conversion rate, right? Because both of those will lead to going from 200 to whatever, 210, 220 of opt-ins, right? And then I guess
the numbers will tell us. Yeah, if one of those, the numbers will tell us every 7 days if one of those activities, if one of those inputs really move the output forward or not. That's the main thing of the strategy sprints method. Whatever we think drives stuff forward is not important. It's an assumption. We write it down, but the number every 7 days will tell us if it's really that. Because sometimes we think, oh yeah, my podcast is bringing people, but maybe it's not. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, my keynotes are bringing people. Maybe it's not. The numbers will tell us. And that's why we go over the email numbers, over the gigs, over each part.
So you set these goals, these 3 numbers, and then each week are you pulling different levers then to see, all right, if we go heavier on a podcast, then how do you determine though some of those drivers and where you're getting results from and where to concentrate?
The numbers will tell us that. So the first coach is the number.
Okay.
If you go on a podcast and then you have 16 people on your calendar, that's working. We will do more of that. If you go on Clubhouse and then you feel super high, but you had 0 people on your calendar, we will not continue Clubhouse, even if you feel super high. But the first coach is always the market. So it's that number. Okay, Clubhouse 0, podcast 16. Okay. Podcast goes into the next week. Clubhouse is discontinued. So we always go for the direct path. We say the direttissima. What's the direct path that will lead you to growth? And so in this case, you tried 2 things that week. We have 1 winner. We continue with the winner. The goal is to do few activities, but the one that have most impact in your week right now with your resources that you have right now in terms of people, money, and time.
Okay. And is there a certain like activities that you do see have a better impact on others, or is it industry specific in terms of podcast, Clubhouse, Twitter, Facebook ads, like in terms of a marketing side? Can you give us some examples of what you see has some good impact?
That changes every week in every country, in every industry, all the time.
Okay.
What stays the same is how we find it out quicker with you. And is really the process that we bring. So there are 3 strategies and 3 habits. The 3 strategies are each activity gets triaged, gets double checked. If it increases by 25%, either frequency, conversion rate, or price. So let's say you are doing this Clubhouse thing and you say, hey, coach, Clubhouse is my thing. That's the goal. And then your coach will double check. We'll say, okay, help me understand, will it increase by 25% the frequency of your sales? No. Okay. Will it increase the price that you can charge for the same thing by 25%? No. Will it increase the conversion rate? No. All right. Maybe that's not the most important thing to do this week. And then, and if we need a deeper analysis, we do a half an hour, what we call it bottleneck analysis. What's the one part in your value creation from awareness, engagement, making ready to buy, closing, upselling, cross-selling? What's the one part that right now is the bottleneck? If we slightly improve that, it will highly improve the whole throughput. There is always one bottleneck. And so in that week, we will focus on that bottleneck, and it will be a negotiation. They will say, yeah, it's Clubhouse. And then we say, show me. Show me the numbers that say it's Clubhouse. It's usually not Clubhouse, by the way. Nothing against Clubhouse, but it's mostly people do a ton of marketing instead of doing sales. And that's why they waste a lot of time and a lot of money. Okay. So one side effect of a sprint is that they cut their marketing expenses by 80% because they see how many activities they are doing that are not working.
Okay.
So for example, they run their own podcast and then they realize that it should be the other way around. You should try to be first on podcasts of other people. They have done all the work of creating the audience. You go there, you sell from stage, you go home. You can do a ton of sales in 90 days with this method. If you run your own podcast, it takes you 3 years, 5 years, and not even after 5 years, it might become a sales machine, right? It might not.
Yep.
It does work for Joe Rogan. It doesn't work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the kind of discussions that we have. And then we have our strategy. All right, we found now activities that move frequency, price, or conversion rate. Now we focus on them. And now we go into tactics. Okay, what can we do to increase this? And this is where this coach says, all right, we have 274 swipe copies, blueprints in the Sprint University. Take that one. Now put in half an hour, do a first draft, then upload it, tag me. This is the Spider-Man moment, right? Tag me. I will give you quick feedback, and then you send it out to your list. Let's say
these blueprints, these are like sales copy, like emails that they're sending to their database to try to get people converted to whatever the product is or the offering.
Yeah, it's a whole plethora of things. It's a 7 minutes video where Simon explains how to do it. Then there is the literal blueprint below the video that you download it. It's either a spreadsheet or a Google Doc or a swipe copy in a Google Doc, whatever works, whatever helps. For emails, we have literally swipe copies. For other things, we have more spreadsheet kind of things that help you plan stuff out. For example, for your marketing strategy, it's more of a spreadsheet. For the JV partners, it's more of a Google Doc, etc. Whatever helps to do that task quicker. Because the goal of the sprint support system is you just spend half an hour, but you move the needle forward. And the coach makes sure that you are only doing activities that are really highly relevant for your business growth, and you are not distracted into other stuff.
And you're focused on like the immediate return. Like you said, a podcast could take years to gain an audience to make it worth it. In 90 days, you're not going to gain that audience, right? But you're looking for the things that have the quick punch till you get the immediate result on it. Like I said, going on other people's podcasts, they already have an audience. You can get a quick hit. You go the next day or week, right on another one, you got another hit to build it quickly. And
yes,
that's the strat. That's like the overall philosophy, right? Whatever gets us the quickest return and best kind of return on cash and then time, sounds like, are the two factors.
Yes, because most people know what to do, but they get the order wrong. So let's say your business is in the first 3 years and you're below 35K per month. You shouldn't spend 1 cent or 1 minute on marketing in this stage. What many people do is they run ads, they waste 20K per year in Google ads. Then they waste 40 hours per quarter on some fancy social media. Whatever, if it's Discord or Twitter, whatever they like.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not the right moment in time. Marketing is important, but later in the scaling stage, not in the growth stage. Before you hit 35K per month, you don't have market validation yet. It means you don't have one offer that converts. You don't have a conversion engine that really, out of every conversation, creates an engagement. And then you probably don't have an onboarding system and you don't have a delivery system. So first we have to create that core things. And that is operations and sales until you hit 35K and you spend nothing because you have nothing to spend.
So how do you gain the business then? So you're not spending anything on marketing. How are you getting people to know about you and drive the sales up to that point?
Organic by talking to you and saying, hey, I see that you don't have a lot of time. I can help you gain time. Can we do it? Let's start tomorrow.
So that's
you have
going
one
on the podcasts.
client.
That's like trying to add value wherever you can, right? Through the social media, through Twitter, and through these. Does that count then?
Wherever you find real people that need really something, okay? But you don't go and search for them. You start with the people that you know. Okay. When you start out. Yeah. You need somebody who has a problem and you know how to solve that. Start there. You just need 3 clients when you start. Those 3, you solve those 3 problems, they will bring you 3 more. And that's how you grow organically and you hit your 35K. If you are a professional service, you have hit the 35K with 5 clients.
Yep.
You don't need 5,000. So what are you looking for on LinkedIn? Nothing. You are not scaling yet. So solve this problem of these 5 people, then get this video of them telling how you solve the problem on your website. Now you have your first website. With those websites, now we go the next step.
Yeah,
so you see, we work on product.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, a client testimonial. So until we hit 35K, it's just simple, one person, one problem, solve that. Then now we hit now 35K. We go back and review those, let's say 15 people that you have worked with, and let's find backwards, okay, who's your ideal client? Of those 15, who had the best results? Why? And let's extrapolate who is your ideal client. Now backwards.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to do it forward. You need some data. So after 15, now backwards you understand and you say, all right, now I work only with this kind of people. You segment them 5 levels deep. And he said, the best client was this one guy. He was in a city. He had 3 dogs and 7 computers. And he only likes the color green. All right, that's now your ideal client. I'm making it up, of course. But now you have some data and now you can focus on that and your service becomes now a program. Your program becomes a product. Now you automate it. Now you build a machine that works in every country for these people who have 3 dogs, 7 computers, and like the color green.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we think about it as like an avatar, right? Who's like this target customer and
exactly.
Geographically, where do they live? What kind of job do they have? How much money do they make? Do they have a family?
Exactly.
Like, what are their interests? Do they like golf? Do they like tennis? Do they like football? Whatever.
Exactly.
And because people resonate, like you make a bigger impact on people who resonate with you. And
yes.
The other tip I've heard that I think is great, which is like you're most powerfully positioned to help the person that you once were. So like whoever I was a couple years ago, like I know that person because I was him, and I can speak to him a lot easier than somebody else. So that's, I don't know. Do you see that with some of your clients, or like, I mean,
it's
maybe
an assumption.
Yeah.
It's an assumption. We would write it down. We would test it. The problem with avatar that I see used is that people try to do the avatar forward and say, yeah, let's just take me, and then we will coach 15 people who are like me. Well, it only tells you that you, of course, have a lot of empathy for them. So you have an immediate understanding, but that doesn't mean at all that for them, it's a value. That's why I prefer to do the avatar exercise later on. We call it the ideal client. Later on, after you have, when you hit those 35K per month, now you go back, analyze the real data, the real Jims and Lisas, etc., that you coached. And then you say, all right, Lisa was the perfect one. She quadrupled her sales. Jim just doubled. So let's see what is about Lisa that makes that result when she works with us. And so from there, you extrapolate both your process and also your ideal client. And this process, you go, okay, what did we do with Lisa in week 1, in week 2, in week 3? That's now your program.
Okay. How have you applied this strategy to your own business to grow it? The strategy sprints, like, or do you do every 90 days? Do you follow this, or you kind of pass that now?
We eat our own dog food. I am using every day the exact same templates that our clients use. And this is where they come from. They come from my daily use. For example, right now, I'm using the daily habit tool. It's called the daily flow, where I write down how am I using my time and what will I delegate tomorrow. In the Friday meeting, which is tomorrow, we will get the reports about the 3 numbers: marketing number, sales number, ops numbers. The monthly habit is doing our strategic analysis, analyzing competitors, analyzing alternatives, behavioral alternatives for our clients. So if they don't work with us, what else can they do? They might hire somebody internally, they might do nothing, etc. So we do alternative analysis. What else can they do? What else do they need? And then we check really, hey, are we working with our ideal client, with the right people at the right price and in the right place? And if we check all these boxes off, then it was a short monthly meeting. If one of those pops up, and wait a moment, we are not working with Lisa's anymore. We kind of moved somewhere else. Let's double check. Did we do this intentionally? Does it make sense? Do we need to change our avatar now? Because the markets have changed, or are we just doing it because there is an opportunity? Then we should say no to those kind of clients and stick to our Lisas, right?
Yep.
That's the monthly habit. So yes, I'm using exactly those spreadsheets, exactly those Google Docs, exactly those email copy myself.
Okay. And how big's your team? Like how many coaches do you have? Like what does all that look like?
So right now we have 9 coaches globally, and I am adding 2 coaches this month, and hopefully 2 to 3 coaches every month this year. And the core team is 8 people on the internal team. Some people do marketing, some do sales. We have setters and closers in the sales team. We have on the marketing side, we have people who get me on podcasts. That's Lou. Then we have Michelle, who is our joint venture manager, etc. Every marketing task has one person. Every sales task has one person. And then there is my role, CEO, which is mainly in the morning. It's doing deep work, like writing or recording. This is how I created, for example, my first book, Strategy Sprints, which is coming out right now on Amazon, which describes exactly what we're talking about. And then in the afternoon, I do hiring interviews because we're hiring, and I do podcast interviews on other people's podcasts. I do my own 2 YouTube lives, and that's my day as a CEO. So in the morning, it's creating stuff. In the afternoon, it's hiring and growth.
Yeah, that's great. As a CEO, your goal is to work on the highest value tasks, right? The things that only you can do that produce the highest dollar per hour. And I mean, those are all perfect. Sounds like you've got the system down. So it's great. It's a great lesson to be learned. So yeah, tell us about your book. When's it come out? Is it out now? Where can they find it?
In most countries, it's out right now. It's called Strategy Sprints. In the US, it's coming out next week, depending on when this airs. Yep. So February 22 is the publishing date in the US. It's on pre-order right now on Amazon and wherever you buy books. It's called Strategy Sprints, and it is full of, each chapter is one of the tools that I use. Like the sales tool is one chapter. The next is the marketing tools.
Okay.
And it goes up to chapter 13, which is my real hiring process and my hiring checklists and my hiring swipe copies. So it's a very practical book on how to solve the big entrepreneurial problems one after the other.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Any other books that you've enjoyed, business books or stuff that you've got a lot of value out of?
Yes, I do read a lot of books in mainly two categories. I like the category business books.
Yep.
Then they are around growth, sales. And I like the categories, let's call it spirituality / poetry narrative.
Okay.
Where it's just about the eternal topics of what does it mean to be a human. And in those categories, I read a ton of books every week, and there are many that I love.
What are you reading right now?
Let's see. There is on my shelf. There is The Startup Way by Eric Ries.
Okay.
Very nice book. And a client of mine wrote a book which is also really, really good. It's called The Lost Art of Closing, Anthony Iannarino. Amazing book about the 10 commitments that you need to achieve in a sales process, in a sales conversation. And he has a great sales approach. He goes from, he says, legacy sales doesn't work anymore. We have to do it smarter, more real, and more educative. We need to add value at each stage. And so his books are all about that. Very, very good books.
Okay, awesome. So how can listeners connect, find out more about you, and if they're interested in becoming a client, get in contact with you?
So we hang out at strategysprints.com. This is where people can also find my daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit. All these tools are open source. They can use them, download them, use them. You put in half an hour, you will probably learn something and find something that's helpful. And then I go live on YouTube every day on two channels. One is called Simon Severino and one is called Strategy Sprints.
Awesome. Okay. And what do you cover in those? Is it these ideas, interviews? Like, what's that content look like?
Strategy Sprints is about revenue systems, and I invite experts and they tell us how they grow their business. And the Simon Severino is about investment systems. Now that you are bringing in all this money, how do you keep it in an era of inflation, depreciation, and terrible markets?
Where are you focusing your money then on the wealth that you're making?
That's what I'm teaching every day on the channel. I'm exploring. So this week we are long Bitcoin and gold.
Okay.
Last week we were exploring commodities, energy stocks. 2 weeks ago we analyzed fundamental analysis of Google, so stocks, Google, Amazon, Tesla, to see which one is a good buying candidate. Because 2 weeks away, they were at a discount price. So our community was shopping 2 weeks ago, and today it's all about Bitcoin and gold.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll link all those up in the show notes, and yeah, I'll definitely be checking them out. Sound pretty interesting. So, hey, well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing all your knowledge here. I mean, that book sounds awesome. I'll definitely be a customer when it comes out. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you, Brian, and keep rolling, everybody.
All right, thanks.